12-bore double-barreled shotgun. The breech in stock richly engraved by Tamlings of St. James. It's not exactly a healthy thing to be on the business end of, especially if you're a pheasant or a partridge. The English, those that can afford it, that is, are absolutely mad about shooting and hunting. They have a language of their very own. Mark over, my bird, sir, your bird, sir, gone away, tally-ho. The outsiders are either envious or contemptuous, like Oscar Wilde, who once described them as the unspeakable in pursuit of the uneatable. Next weekend, I am joining the unspeakables myself.
Good afternoon, Miss Ripford.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Ellshaw. I'm meeting... Oh, there he is. Simon, I'm so sorry I'm late, but the traffic was impossible.
Well, that's all right, but you think you have problems.
Oh, what's the matter?
I don't have a charge account here. Do you think I could pay cash?
Well, leave it to me. I'll fix it. The cashier used to be Dad's secretary. I'm in. Come on. Mrs. Ellshaw, may I introduce an old friend of mine? This is the famous Simon Templar.
Yes, I think you'll find this gun eminently suitable, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Ellshaw, excuse me, will you put that back in the window,
Certainly,
please?
sir.
Come. Mrs. Ellshaw, what is it? Mrs. Ellshaw!
Oh, very odd.
What's the matter with her?
Arthur, why are you
Why are you
running away?
following me? What do you want? Why are you bothering me? Who are you?
Who am I?
I never saw you before in my life.
Arthur, you must be ill.
Will you please get out of here?
Arthur, it's me, Florrie. Don't pretend you don't know me. You're married to me. What's the matter with you?
Florrie, will you please go away?
You living here?
Yes,
Why?
I can't explain.
You've got to. For 6 months, I believed you were in Canada.
Oh, believe what you like. Now, will you please go?
Are the police after you?
No,
And what's wrong?
nothing.
You're hiding from somebody.
Look, Florrie, if you'll just leave me alone, if you'll just forget you ever saw me, I'll give you £20. Now, take it.
Arthur, I love you. Do you understand that? Maybe we weren't always happy, but I married you, and you have to tell me what this is all about.
I can't. I can't tell you any more.
I'm going to the police.
Oh, Florrie, please don't. Please trust me. Don't go to the police. Don't tell anybody you've seen me. Don't even mention my name. Oh, Florrie, promise me.
Thank you. There's something terribly wrong, Mr. Templar.
Hmm?
And first he actually pretended not to know me.
Why would he do that?
I know what you're thinking. He was tired of being married to me. Well, perhaps he was. But if that's true, why couldn't he just have left me? Why pretend he's in Canada? Why hide in an empty house here in London?
Empty?
I mean, there's no proper furniture in it. Only a camp bed and a couple of wooden crates. Evidently he eats there. I saw a hot plate and a kettle. Keeps a blanket over the window. Almost as if he was afraid somebody was watching him. Mr. Templar, I had to come to see you. I promised Arthur I wouldn't go to the police.
Why, has he ever been arrested?
Yes. He served 3 years in prison, long before we were married.
What for?
Theft. It was his second offense. Mr. Templar, please help me. Arthur's not bad, not really. I know he used to drink and gamble, but well, they're just symptoms of something. He's unhappy. Afraid of life somehow.
Mrs. Ellshaw, where is this house?
11 Duchess Place.
Would you like me to go around and try and talk to her?
Would you?
I don't know what good it will do, but we'll try.
You'll let me know right away.
As soon as I've talked to her.
Thank you. I can't tell you how grateful I am.
You don't have to.
Goodbye, Miss Ripwell. Give my regards to your father.
Yes. I'll show Mrs. Ellshaw out.
Thank you, Anne.
Goodbye.
Mrs. Ellshaw.
Well, what do you think?
I think it's a case of marriage fatigue.
Well, why not just walk out? Why hide and why pretend to be in Canada?
I don't know. You think she's making it all up?
What possible motive could she have?
No, she's lonely. Lonely people do funny things.
Yes, but you saw her rush out of that shop. She must have seen something. Besides, she was Dad's secretary for 2 years. She was always very level-headed and reliable. I liked her. Simon, let's help her.
You mean now?
Well, dinner can wait, can't it? Anyway, I'll see you all the weekend. Let's go round to Duchess Place now.
I am at your disposal.
Do you ring the bell and introduce yourself?
Seems a reasonable way to start. Come on.
Excuse me, but this place has been closed for months.
Oh, do you know who owns it?
Well, no, but why don't you try the agent?
Thank you.
Well, there's nobody here.
Yes, you wait here. I'll go around the back, see if I can get in the window.
Simon, do you think you should?
Well, I am trying to break the habit. Sign of life at all. as the one she described, except there's no blanket on the window. No furniture. No camp bed. Nothing. No.
What is it?
It's a milk bottle top.
Oh, Simon, what do you think?
I think your Mrs. Ellshaw is not quite as level-headed as you believe.
Surely she wouldn't just make up a story like this out of nothing.
Most stories are made up out of nothing. The only thing we know positively is that somebody at some time or other opened a milk bottle in this room. And that's a pretty lousy reason for missing a good dinner.
Now what?
You wait in the car. I'm going to call Mrs. Ellshaw.
All right.
Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Ellshaw.
Empty, Mrs. Ellshaw. No furniture, no camp cot, nothing.
Mr. Templar, I'm not making this up. I swear I'm not. I saw him, I tell you. And there's something else. After I left your place, there was a man following me.
Mrs. Ellshaw, was it your husband?
Ever since I saw Arthur, I've had the feeling I've been watched.
I see. All right, Mrs. Ellshaw. Miss Ripwell and I'll stop by in a moment.
Goodbye.
And I'm perfectly willing to play the Boy Scout, but I think this has all the earmarks of a neurotic woman's need for attention.
Well, I find it hard to believe.
Well, ask the police. It happens all the time. People are always confessing to crimes they never committed. And last week there was something in the paper about an old boy who said the Russians were spying on him from the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral.
Well, we don't have to stay long. Simon.
You wait here. You all right? Could I speak to Inspector Teal, please?
Well, go on.
Well, Mrs. Ellshaw came round to my place, I suppose, about 6:15. She told me the story about her husband, then left at 7:15.
And then?
Miss Ripwell and I went round to Duchess Place.
We found nothing.
I figured she was making the story up. It's fairly obvious now she wasn't.
What time did you get to her flat?
About 8:05.
Come in.
Your short file, sir.
Thank you. Ershaw has a record right enough. Served 3 years for robbery in 1953. He's not wanted for anything now.
Except possibly his wife's murder.
Possibly.
It was a pretty clumsy attempt to make a murder look like a suicide.
You know, Simon, I think we'll, just for the time being, keep this out of the papers.
Why?
Miss Ripwell, you are the daughter of Sir John Ripwell, the shipping magnate?
Yes.
Of Haley Manor, Norfolk?
Yes, that's right.
Mrs. Ellshaw worked for your father.
Yes, she was his private secretary for 2 years. She resigned about 10 months ago.
Why?
I don't know. She was having some trouble with her husband, I believe.
I think we will keep quiet about it for the present, just in case it ties in. Give our man a false sense of security.
Claude, what are you getting at?
Miss Ripwell, I presume your father told you.
Told me what?
Last Tuesday night, somebody broke into your house.
Someone what?
You didn't know.
Well, no, I live in town. I haven't seen my father since last weekend.
There are telephones.
He minimizes this sort of thing and wouldn't want to worry me.
Claude, what are you keeping back?
Last Tuesday, a man tried to kill Sir John Ripwell.
What are you thinking about?
Your father. Why wouldn't he have told you about that attempt on his life?
Oh, Dad's like that. He doesn't believe in sharing his troubles or crying on other people's shoulders. Besides, he wasn't hurt or anything.
Typically British. Who else is going to be there this weekend?
My brother Ken and Hugo Mayer.
Mayor. Who's your father's partner?
Mm-hmm. He's vice chairman of Ripwell's, the master company.
Anybody else?
Oh, he's Martin Eyelock, Dad's secretary.
Mrs. Ellshaw's successor.
That's right. What's the next driveway on the left?
The natives are hostile.
Well, they're probably out on the moors. Dad's absolutely crazy about shooting.
Sir! Sir John! Sir John!
Some idiot. What happened? He's been shot. Kenneth, get back to the house and call Dr. Cranston. Hurry.
Hugo, you...
Hurry up! Eyelock, give me a hand to get him into the landau.
Wise to move him? Of course it is. I can't stay here all night.
Oh, Mr. Temple's in the front guest room.
Yes, Miss Anne.
Well, I certainly wouldn't like to lay the rates on this.
Anne,
What is it?
there's been an accident.
Oh, what happened?
It's Dad.
What?
He's been shot.
Well, how bad is it?
I don't know.
Oh, but how?
I'm not sure. We were all spread out. Martin was over to the right, Hugo was behind, and I... Dr. Cranston, it's Kenneth Ripwell speaking. Can you come over right away? There's been an accident. My father's been shot. What the devil is Dr. Cranston doing?
Kenneth, for heaven's sake, get a grip on yourself. And don't drink so fast.
When I want any advice on how to drink in my father's home, I'll ask for it.
And don't be rude.
Gentlemen, we won't help things by arguing among ourselves.
I'm sorry. What I can't understand is how it happened.
Sir John aimed, fired twice. A moment later, there was a third shot from right over on the left.
Well, Hugo, why don't you go right ahead and say it? I was on Dad's left.
Yes, you were.
I shot twice in the entire afternoon.
Kenneth, nobody's accusing anybody.
That's right.
It was an accident, pure and simple.
Of course it was.
It was one of us who accidentally shot my father. I'd like to know who it was.
Why? Contemplating legal action?
There's no thought of prosecuting anyone. I'd just like to know who it was, that's all.
Dr. Cranston says he'll be fine.
Nothing to worry about at all. His constitution's as sound as a bell. He'll be up and around in 3 or 4 days.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Oh, which one of you is Templar?
I am.
He wants to talk to you. Good night, gentlemen.
Don't tire him out.
Mr. Mayor, I have no intention of tiring Sir John out. He's asked to see me. Do you mind?
Naturally not.
Thank you.
By the way, Eyelock, what about that meeting with the Kinglake group on Monday?
Oh, that'll have to be postponed.
That's impossible.
Well, I'd suggest you talk to Sir John about it. He's still in charge, you know.
I'm not suggesting he isn't.
Aren't you?
No.
Good. Wouldn't do to be premature, would it?
Simon, my boy,
Sir John?
come in. This is a blasted nuisance. I'm most frightfully sorry.
Oh, it's hardly your fault.
No, but I hate greeting guests like this. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. What's more to the point is how are you?
It's only a scratch, not worth talking about. Sit down.
Thanks. Sir John, I suppose you are convinced that this was an accident.
God bless myself. Of course it was an accident. You're not seriously suggesting that somebody shot at me deliberately?
Yes, I am.
What utter rot.
Is it? How about the attempt on your life last week?
I'll tell you about that.
Inspector Teal.
He's an old woman.
All right, what happened?
Some wretched burglar broke into the house. I got up and went to investigate. Blighter cleared off through the drawing room windows. I took after him. Halfway down the drive, he turned and took a shot at me. He missed me by a mile. But I nipped straight back into the house. One of those occasions where discretion is much the better part of valor.
Sir John, a burglar takes a shot at you last week. Now, this accident. I think there's a connection.
Good heavens, man, look who I was with today. My own son, my business partner, my private secretary. Absolutely unthinkable that any one of them would deliberately...
Is it? On the face of it, it is unthinkable. But is it impossible?
Where is everybody?
Well, I'm seeing about dinner. The mayor's in the library, telephoning London. Templar's still with your father.
Martin, why is Templar here?
Well, because Anne invited him.
Are you certain that's the reason?
Of course.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, Ken, stop it. Pull yourself together.
Martin, I can't stand much more of this. All this hiding, it's driving me crazy.
You're drunk.
No, if I didn't drink...
Ken, why can't you just forget it? You're safe, understand?
Every time I hear a ring at the door, I wonder if it's the police. Martin, it's driving me out of my mind. I'd rather be dead than carry on like this.
There is no connection between what happened and Templar's being in this house. You're safe, Ken. Well, I'm the only one who knows. You can trust me, can't you?
Yes, sir. I know that. Without you, I don't know what I would have done.
Am I interrupting something?
Would you care?
What's the matter with him?
Suppose you guess.
Now, what does that mean?
You practically accused him of shooting his own father.
I think he did. Oh, I admit it was an accident, but Kenneth's too cowardly to admit it.
Why did you say that to Sir John's face?
I would, if he asked me.
I believe you would at that.
I deal in facts, not sportsmanship, Ilock. But then I never went to a public school.
Excuse me.
I'm not through yet.
Mayor, get something straight. I'm hired as Sir John's private secretary, not yours. You can start giving me orders when Sir John's dead, not before.
If that unfortunate event should occur, believe me, your services would be dispensed with instantly.
Don't start making your plans too soon.
Well, I'm dashed. An extraordinary story.
Yes, isn't it? What was Mrs. Ellshaw like when she worked for you?
Most reliable. Absolutely first-rate woman. Liked her thoroughly. I felt sorry for her, having to put up with that husband of hers.
Can you think of any possible motivation Ellshaw might have for murdering you?
Certainly not. I merely tried to be a little considerate of his wife.
And he was jealous?
Good heavens, no.
Sir John, I'm sorry to have to tell you. For the moment, it's being kept quiet. Mrs. Ellshaw is dead. She was murdered.
You're not serious.
Very. The police think Ellshaw killed her.
I don't know what to say. I always knew it was up. But to kill his wife...
Mrs. Ellshaw's murder and these two attempts on your life somehow or other form a pattern. Sir John, forgive me for asking, but who would benefit most from your death?
The world would be immensely better off.
I'm serious.
You mean who gets my money? The estate is divided equally between Kenneth and Anne.
I presume it's considerable.
Yes.
What about Hugo Mayer?
He'd no doubt take over in my place.
And Ilock?
Well, that'd be up to Hugo, actually, but since they don't get on any too well, no doubt Ilock will be looking for a job.
Sir John, there's something strange going on. I'd like to call Inspector Teal.
What for?
Have him come down here.
Well, if you think it's wise, I suppose I have no objections. Go ahead.
to place a personal call to London to Chief Inspector Claude Eustace Teal, Scotland Yard, Whitehall 1212.
Your number, please?
Kenneth, dinner will be in 40 minutes, so... Oh, what's the matter?
Why did you invite Templar down here?
Because I wanted to. Well, what's wrong?
Everything.
What's all this about?
You could have knocked.
Do I have to? Where are you going?
London.
Why?
I want to.
Ken, what's wrong?
Your friend Templar is a police spy. He's not just down here for the shooting, nor is he interested in your pretty blue eyes.
Ken, are you in trouble?
Oh, when am I not in trouble?
What have you done?
What does it matter?
Tell me.
And face it, I'm a total failure. I'm no good at business, I'm no good at sport. Everything Dad wants me to do, I hate. I got sent down from Oxford. I've never even held a decent job. Oh, what's the use of talking about it?
Well, does that help?
Some people say it doesn't, but they're wrong. It saves me from going out of my mind. And I'm no good. I drink, I gamble, have a vile temper, and what's worse,
Say it.
No.
Say it!
I'm a murderer, if you really want to know the truth. In plain, simple English, I've taken the life of another human being.
Ken! Ken! Ken, come back! Ken! Simon! It's Ken. He's drunk and you've got to stop him.
Stop worrying. Kenneth will be found. He's probably sobered up and on his way home right now.
Simon. There's something I haven't told you.
Oh?
Last night, before Kenneth rushed out, he said something.
What?
That he'd killed someone. Oh, I know he was drunk and terribly upset, and I don't believe it, but...
But he said it.
Yes.
Did he say who?
No. But I thought of Mrs. Ellshaw.
Why?
Because Ken was in London the night it happened.
And have you mentioned this to anyone else?
No.
Then don't. This just doesn't fit in with my theories.
Well, then why else did he run away?
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Any news of the runaway?
No, not yet. Simon sent for the police last night.
The police?
Under the circumstances, I thought it wisest.
But why? Kenneth hasn't done anything.
Then why did he run away? Martin, you know Kenneth better than anyone. What's wrong? What's troubling him?
Oh, Anne.
I look, the way Ken drove last night, I thought he was trying to kill himself.
Martin, I'm so worried.
Ken is no worse than lots of young men of his age. Oh, he gambles, he drinks a bit too much, perhaps.
You think that's all there is to it?
Well, why does he drink too much?
Oh, don't ask me, I'm not a psychiatrist.
Well, does he owe money?
Well, not that I know of. Ken is just a little uncertain of himself. Not quite sure where he wants to go, or what he wants to do, and sometimes it... Well, your father's not the world's most patient man.
No.
By the way, how is Sir John?
Oh, he's much better.
I think I'll go and say good morning to him.
Yes, why don't you?
And don't worry.
Martin, is there something you're not telling me?
Nothing, my word of honor.
Oh, well, I suppose we'll just have to wait for the police to find him.
Oh, I thought the doctor ordered you to stay in bed.
Rubbish. Grandson orders 6 weeks in bed for a cut finger. Come sit down. Any news of Kenneth?
No, not yet.
Bolting off like this. He's a good lad at heart, you know, but undisciplined. Did you ring Teal?
Yes, he'll be down this afternoon. Sir John, I'm trying to tie together 3 isolated events. Mrs. Ellshaw's death, the attempt on your life, and Kenneth's disappearance. Now, is there anything else you can tell me?
About what?
Last night, when I mentioned Ellshaw's name, I got the distinct impression you were holding something back.
Don't miss much, do you?
Then there is more.
Lost his shoulder. Yes, there is. Come in.
Thank you.
Ellshaw tried to blackmail me.
Oh? What for?
It's nonsense. I like Mrs. Ellshaw, of course. I felt sorry for her being married to a rogue like that. But suddenly, out of the blue, he accused me of fooling around with her. He demanded money or threatened to sue me.
What did you do?
Called his bluff. Told him to go ahead and sue. Then I threw him out.
Sir John, forgive me, was there any truth in this?
No, of course not. I knew she was attractive, but, no.
Well, this abortive attempt must have proved to Ellshaw that you couldn't be blackmailed under any circumstances, right?
Yes.
Do you suppose he then turned his energies towards Kenneth?
Not much point in that. He hasn't any money.
But he will have.
Yes. Mind you, he has his allowance and some property in London I deeded to him when he was 18. 4 houses. They're empty now. Property's been sold for a big development. But the money's all tied up.
Where is this property?
Duchess Place.
Duchess Place.
Why?
Who's handling the sale for Kenneth?
Hugo Mayer. He can tell you what you want to know.
Hello there, Mayor.
Ah, I see Mrs. Elshaw's demise has at last hit the papers. You're a man of many parts, Templar. You apparently control both the police and the press.
It was Inspector Teal's idea to keep it quiet.
Oh? Why?
I'm afraid he doesn't take me into his confidence.
Wasn't your name mentioned? You found the body, didn't you?
How did you know?
You told Sir John. Sir John told me.
Mayor, have you been down to Duchess Place lately?
To where?
Duchess Place. And Kenneth owns some property there, doesn't he?
Yes. Why?
Are they vacant?
Yes. They're to be torn down shortly. They form part of a larger property that's going to be demolished for flats.
Would it be possible for anyone to live there without your knowing?
They're unfurnished. There's nothing in them.
No, for example, supposing I went through a back window with a camp bed and a blanket. Would you know?
Probably. Why? Your landlord being difficult.
No, I'm just curious. May I ask you something else? What do you think of young Kenneth Ripwell?
I'm sorry. I don't discuss my partner's family with strangers.
Very wise.
However, since you ask, I think he's spoiled, self-indulgent, lazy and irresponsible. Give him 3 gins and he's ready to fight the world.
Oh, he's a belligerent drinker, is he?
Very. And when he's sober, he's afraid of a mouse. It's obvious why he's run off like this.
Is it?
On the moors yesterday, he was on his father's left. Oh, it was an accident, but Ken's too cowardly to admit it. Typical of the British upper classes.
You don't like the British upper classes?
I don't like cowards and phonies. Men who think they can get away with anything, provided they wear a public school tie. It's idiotic class distinctions of this sort that have ruined England.
This includes Sir John.
John is 20 years behind the times. And when the day comes when I have a completely free hand...
when he's dead?
I didn't say that.
Well, he may fool you. I understand his father lived to be 102. Well, that must be Claude Eustace Teal. Right on time.
You don't mean to tell me you've actually brought the police down here just because of a shooting accident?
Not a shooting accident, Mr. Mayor. A deliberate attempt at murder. Oh, Claude Eustace. The bloodhound of the yard.
Hello, Simon.
What's the matter? You don't look very happy to see me.
I'm bursting with happiness. I know you have a genuine Boy Scout ambition to do me a good turn. So before I start talking to people, perhaps you'll tell me what's going on in this house.
Yes, well, why don't we go up to my room? I don't think we'll be disturbed there.
Ah, look, for heaven's sake.
You comfortable, sir?
No, but pillows won't help. Stop acting like Florence Nightingale.
Sorry, Sir John.
Well, Inspector, having heard the story, have you got any theories?
There seems to be no connection between the attempt on your life and Mrs. Elshaw's death.
I wish you'd stop referring to a shooting accident as an attempt on my life.
Sir John, it wasn't an accident.
Are you suggesting my son tried to kill me?
No, I don't think Kenneth had anything to do with it.
Then who did?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Now, look, for heaven's sake, pour some scotch and soda.
Oh, but Dr. Cranston said...
Stop quoting Dr. Cranston at me.
Yes, sir.
How about you, Simon?
No thanks.
Steele?
No thanks.
The way I see it, there are 4 motives that make a man a killer. Revenge, jealousy, fear, and greed. Now, Sir John's a very rich man. I think the motivation behind all of this is extortion.
Now, how can the death of Mrs. Ellshaw tie into an extortion attempt on Sir John?
Claude, when that's figured, the case will be solved.
Here we are, Sir John.
Thank you.
You think there's a connection?
I'm positive.
Oh. Don't drink it!
What's wrong? What's happened?
Call Dr. Cranston, quickly. Claude, that took organization and nerve.
Be careful.
Well, I'm touched. You really care.
I don't. It's just that a lab report is more accurate than your taste buds.
10 shillings says it's arsenic. You know, Claude, now we have more than just a theory. We have a fact.
Which is?
You mean you don't see it? It's staring you right in the face.
Then introduce me. Is Dr. Cranston finished?
He didn't swallow enough to do any real damage. Inspector, what's happening in this house?
We're not sure, but I've arranged for 2 of the local policemen to stay on duty all night. I put one outside, and I'd like one in your father's room.
Is that really necessary?
I think it necessary.
Well, then you can tell him.
All right. I want a word with Dr. Cranston. Excuse me.
Certainly.
If you wanted to get onto this estate without being seen, what would be the easiest way?
Through the wood, by the outhouses. Why?
A hunch tonight we're going to have a visit from an uninvited guest.
Now, there you are, Robbins.
You mean every time I look up from my reading, I'm to be faced with him?
Sir John, there have been 2 attempts on your life.
You play chess, young man.
No, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Would checkers be any good, sir?
Seems tonight I am to be spared nothing.
How do you feel?
Not too bad. A bit shaky. Well, mostly I'm frightened. I don't mind admitting it. There was sheer chance that you and Inspector Teal didn't have drinks, too. This maniac might have killed all of us.
Mr. Alloc, let's go back to the first attempt on Sir John's life. Last Tuesday.
Well, I was asleep. The sound of the shot woke me up. I looked out of the window and saw Sir John running towards the house. I hurried downstairs. He wasn't hurt, but he was naturally badly shaken. And we called the police.
Did you see anybody else?
Not a soul.
Well, how about the gate near the tool house? Is it kept locked?
It's kept locked, right enough. But it's only 4 feet high. A child could climb over it.
I see. Have you ever met Mrs. Ellshaw?
Once, briefly, when I was taking over her job here.
What about Mr. Ellshaw?
I met him, too, under rather unpleasant circumstances. He came here with an absurd story suggesting that Sir John and Mrs. Ellshaw had been behaving improperly.
And had they?
Of course not. The whole thing was a tissue of lies. Sir John threw him out.
Yes, so he told me. Why didn't he call the police?
Well, it's not the sort of thing one likes to call attention to. Besides, it was too ridiculous to be taken seriously.
Just one more thing. I know you couldn't speak frankly in front of Anne. But is there anything you can tell me about Kenneth? Is he in any sort of trouble?
Kenneth's been in trouble since the day he was born.
In what way?
Well, Sir John's very demanding. He wants Kenneth to grow up into the perfect English gentleman. Unfortunately, the mold is a little out of date. Ever since the first day that Kenneth went to prep school, Sir John kept at him. He had to excel at everything. Kenneth lives constantly under pressure. Not just to grow up, but to grow into a carbon copy of his father.
And that's too much to ask of any boy.
I'm more or less caught in the crossfire. I respect Sir John, and he pays my salary. On the other hand, I like Kenneth. I understand what he's had to go through.
Do you suppose Kenneth could have shot his father accidentally and been afraid to admit it?
Well, I suppose it's possible.
On the other hand, he couldn't have had anything to do with poisoning the whiskey. When he wasn't even here.
I know. It's quite baffling.
Don't worry, Mr. Hylock. It won't be baffling for long.
But surely 2 policemen on guard are enough.
Well, they don't know who to look for. I do. And this whole situation is going to come to a boil tonight.
Kenneth!
Hello, Anne.
We've been worried sick. Dad thinks...
What, did I try to kill him?
Oh, no, of course not. He knows it was an accident.
I shot twice yesterday afternoon. Neither shot went anywhere near Dad.
Then why did you run off?
What I said's true. I have killed someone.
I don't believe it.
You've come back to give yourself up?
And that's why you're here, isn't it? That's why you sent for Inspector Teal.
Why don't you tell us the whole story?
Well, it was a card game in London 6 months ago. I'd lost over £100 before I realized that this man was cheating. I accused him. He denied it and hit me. Well, I was terribly drunk and I went crazy. I hit him so hard, I knocked him against a radiator and fractured his skull.
Who was this man?
Arthur Ellshaw.
Who else was there?
Well, well, well. The prodigal son has returned.
Hello, Hugo.
What's behind all this?
You're interrupting a private conversation.
Am I? Well, I'd suggest, Kenneth, that you go upstairs at once and explain this ridiculous behavior to your father.
No, Ken. Not a word to anybody.
But I have to.
You've kept quiet for 6 months. Another few hours won't matter.
It seems Mr. Templar has taken charge of the entire household.
Please, Ken. Don't say anything to anybody. Not yet.
All right. If you think it's for the best.
I do. I think it's absolutely vital.
What?
Sorry, sir.
Set up another board.
Inspector, I presume I can go to bed without running foul of the law.
Good night, Mr. Mayor.
Our runaway adolescent is back.
Well, the Elusive Ellshaw, I presume. Right now, Mr. Ellshaw, you and I are going to have a little talk.
You're Templar, aren't you?
That's right. Now let's have your story.
I can't tell you anything.
Be prepared to get very rough.
There will be murder.
I wonder whether it's legally possible to kill a man who's already dead.
What do you mean?
Why did you come here?
It was Florrie. The idea was to keep her out of the way, hidden in Dutch's place. I didn't know he'd shoot her. Florrie and I didn't get on, but I didn't want her dead.
You're lying.
I'm not.
Oh, sure, you can get away with a lot of things in front of a jury, but one thing they never take kindly to is a man who kills his wife.
I didn't kill her.
Are you going to tell me the truth or not?
Yes. Yes, I'll tell you everything.
Not to me. You can go up to the house and tell Inspector Teal. Now pull yourself together. It's your chance to get off the hook. Well, young man,
Inspector, I told Mr. Templar I wouldn't talk.
Templar's not in charge here. I am.
Well, another couple of hours won't make any difference. Then I'll make a full confession. Mr. Templar seems to think...
You are, Claude. The man all the commotion's about.
It is Ellshaw.
That's right. The $1 million mystery. People were killed to keep.
But it can't be.
It is.
He's dead. I know. I killed him.
Well, it's fairly obvious you didn't.
6 months, I've been in hiding. Every time there was a ring at the doorbell, I was afraid it was the police coming to...
Wait a minute.
Oh, I thought I heard Kenneth's voice.
Why don't you come right in? You'll hear even better. Well, Claude, the party is now complete. You mean Ilock's in on this too? Right up to his stinking neck.
What are you talking about?
You wanted Ripple's money. So with Ellshaw, you tried blackmailing Sir John about Elshaw's wife. When that got treated with the contempt it deserved, you looked for another way.
Martin, is this true?
Oh, he's raving.
I haven't even started. Again, using Ellshaw, you engineered a poker party. You fed Kenneth plenty of liquor, and then Ellshaw started to cheat so openly that even though he was drunk, Kenneth realized it. There was a fight. Ellshaw was knocked out as planned, and then you sobered Kenneth up and told him Ellshaw was dead.
He said he'd get rid of the body and cover up the evidence. 2 days later, he said he'd done it.
And you believed him?
Oh, Anne, I've done things before when I was drunk and not remembered anything.
And from that moment on, you were in his power.
Yes.
While all the time you pretended you were his best friend.
It's not true.
Twice you tried to kill Sir John, so that Kenneth would inherit the money, at which point you figured on really turning the screw.
You're mad.
Nuts, Mr. Ilock. Kenneth is here to tell the world how you pretended you were saving him from the gallows. And Elshaw's here to confirm that you double-crossed him and then shot his wife.
But why did he take poison?
That was to throw us off the scent, wasn't it? Come on, Ilock, why not admit it? You're through.
You think so? Oh, yes. It's true. All of it. Well, I had to kill Mrs. Ellshaw because she'd seen this stupid idiot alive. You said you wouldn't hurt her. You fool, you!
Want to fire it again? There you are, Claude. There's your case.
Yes.
Anne, I think you and Ken had better go upstairs and tell Sir John that the elusive Ellshaw is not elusive anymore.
Thank you.